Well, it's quite an important day here, Blaine. As you can see, the president has just arrived. Other dignitaries, including the Premier of Gauteng, Mr. David Makura, have already arrived. The Minister of the Department of Trade and Industry, Ibrahim Patel, is also here. Park Stow, the MEC of Economic Development in the Gauteng province, is also in attendance. It's quite an important day, of course, as you explained. This special economic zone was launched back in 2019. It's a 3.5 billion rand investment. They are going to be building, we understand, facilities to produce automotive parts that will be supplied to the Ford Motor Company and maybe other car manufacturing companies in this hub of automotive manufacturing here in Pretoria, in the Silverton area. It's a huge construction site already. You can see there's lots and lots of people who are employed here, who are working on the construction site, and you can imagine how many jobs will be created once this construction is finished. We also understand that from here, the president and the dignitaries will be going over to the offices of the Ford Motor Company, where Ford, we understand, is going to make a major announcement regarding a big investment that Ford is going to be making in the country. So there is quite a lot of excitement, as you can see. Despite the pouring rain, it looks like the president is quite busy these days, up and about, and it looks like rain is following him wherever he goes. We expect the president, of course, to make some remarks here about the construction site, as the main reason for him being here today is to check on the progress with regards to the construction here. Of course, we expect him to answer your question that you posed about the economic significance of this project in terms of the economy and, of course, in terms of job creation. We heard the president speaking to NETLEC yesterday, the NETLEC Economic Summit that they were having, saying that job creation is the most pressing need in the country right now. So shortly we're going to be getting some comments from the president, but at the moment he's getting a briefing. We can listen in quickly.
With the participation of the DTI nationally and the other spheres of government, I think in the broader Gauteng city region, that is beginning to unfold. Secondly, in terms of partnerships, I think we have a very strong partnership with Ford as a lead investor, and therefore the relationship between government and private sector will be cemented going forward. This is the home of what is effectively the largest FDI component in the country as we speak, but I'm sure Andrea will speak to that when his turn comes later on today. Thirdly, from a socio-economic impact point of view, we are happy that we have members of the Community Project Committee here. We have got 8,000 jobs that will be created during the construction only, and that's only in terms of phase 1 and 1A. Before we get to phase 2 and 3, those figures will become available at the appropriate time. From an economic point of view, the project itself is committing to 45% of spend on SMMEs, primarily from this region of Tshwane and Mamelodi. And that 45% amounts to no less than 1.5 billion rands that will be retained in the local economy of Tshwane, and particularly amongst SMMEs that will be contracted to the main contractors here. We have already contracted 22 of those SMMEs, and we'll be going up to 220 packages over the next couple of months. In terms of key risks, rain, as you can see, is an interesting challenge. It's a great blessing until you are in the mud and you are not able to do what you are supposed to do. So I think rain is the key one. The second one, obviously, the supply of steel, structural steel, because in the last few months, due to COVID, we have had a shutdown of the smelters and the furnaces in many of the suppliers. And as they restart, we are in the back of the queue as TASES, because there are other projects that were already there that were stopped. And we are trying to make sure that we address that with all key players, including ArcelorMittal, with whom we have met recently to discuss these issues. I think the regulatory environment, primarily from a city approvals point of view, to expedite the approvals that we require, is going to be another key challenge, but we are moving and working with the city in that regard to make sure that it doesn't impact adversely. I've done my part on the construction side, technically, in terms of progress from when you were last year, just over a year ago, to now. I will ask Kelly to address that, and we will chip in as it becomes necessary. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Your Excellency, President. Thank you very much for being with us again today. We think back to the November 2019 when you came to turn the sod. And I think maybe just to introduce, we're at that red dot at the moment. We're on the Ford frame site. When you came the last time, it was along this road here, and you'll remember that that's where the sod clearing happened.
That's right.
And we can see that from that time, which the site consisted of bush, we now have 200,000 cubic meters of earthworks which has been done. Jungle, absolutely, sir. We now have 200,000 cubic meters of earthworks. We have some major retaining walls which are up. And I think it's a great tribute to TASES and Kocha working together as state-owned enterprises which are assisting government to deliver and to implement. And I think that that's what we're here for, that's what we're all about, and that's what we're certainly doing. I'd like to just take you through a little bit of what you see at the moment. The design on this started, Your Excellency, as you would remember, at the beginning of COVID, where we executed much of the design electronically, remotely, to drive that, and we actually didn't lose any time through COVID. We got the design done. We moved into detailed design here in June and started August construction in August. So what you see in terms of 240,000 cubic meters, square meters of building designed, and 200,000 cubic meters of earthworks here at the moment has happened in just 6 months. So it has been a bit of a push. And I think we're very cognizant of the fact that this is the biggest thing in Gauteng in the last 10 years since car trade. So we're very pleased to be part of it. The timelines, Your Excellency, are tight. We have to deliver. Obviously, the Ford timelines are critical to us. We understand the kickoff date for the Ford 2022 program, and we need to meet that. And we are pushing hard to do that at the moment. We've had a number of challenges on the site. I think the materials, the soils that we have here have been a challenge. They have not been good. We've had to come up with geotech solutions for them, and we've been able to overcome that deep clays. We also have a challenge in terms of materials in South Africa at the moment, structural steel shortages, which we are currently dealing with the associations concerned. But I think we're committed. In terms of the timeline, we're using an agile project management methodology espoused by the Project Management Institute to deliver unconventionally. We've had to use unconventional logic on this project, but I think, Your Excellency, it's paid off. Essentially, just very briefly, we have two phases to the project. We have phase one, which is what we're on at the moment, and we are at the red dot. That is accommodating 6 investors, actually 7, with Thai Summit, who are building their own factory. But the ones that we are doing are Sodesha, the Ford frame site, which is where we're standing at the moment, Hesto harnesses, Aeroclass Dace, and Automold at the bottom, being the 6 that we are building. I think what is significant about Ford frame and Sodesha is we've accelerated the work. We are standing here at the moment, and this area here is actually the e-coating section, where we need to give beneficial occupation by the end of April, or actually the 12th of April, for the installation of equipment. And Your Excellency, if you look just to your left, to my right, you'll see a retaining wall going up. That is the first portion of reinforced concrete structure related to the e-coating section, which is already in progress and going up. And we are driving at meeting that date for Ford. The second one across is up in Sidacia, where we are at the moment doing the major conveyor trench through the site, which again has to meet very stringent timelines for the top structure, and we are driving that one. There are a number of investors who could not be accommodated in phase 1, and as a result of it, we had to open up what we call phase 1A, which is part of a future phase 3. But it was expedited and acquired from private sector, the land, into city of Tshwane. And as you drove in, Your Excellency, you would have seen it on the right-hand side off Alvane Road, an area which has been cleared and is currently in construction. I think just taking you through some of the drawing very, very briefly, if we take Sidacia at the top, this is the type of fabric that we're looking at in Sidacia. It is quite a big factory. It has a high bay related to it, which is really a technological challenge. It has major cranes in it. It has a 2,000-ton press, also a 2,500-ton press to press body parts, and it is a bit of a challenge, that factory. Going across to the extreme right-hand side, Your Excellency, behind Duren, is the Ford frame site, and you will notice that it's been built in segments. In such a way that we can expedite the beneficial occupation of equipment installation as soon as possible. This segment in the middle here is the e-coating segment, and we will be standing probably around about there now, which is equivalent to the red dot that we have on the screen. So again, it's been a segmental approach to actually get happening as quickly as possible. Hesto Harnesses is this factory here. They'll be doing the harnesses on the plant. We then have Aeroclass Dace and Automotive being the lower two projects which are happening here. Aeroclass Dace producing trim and body liners, and Automotive doing your automold injection of plastic parts. And then across here, very importantly, we have Feltex, the Feltex plant, which is down here. Also quite a big plant which is happening. They produce all of your internal body trim and linings, etc. for vehicles. Faurecia Tenneco, exhausts and prop shafts. And then Aeroclass Dace, sorry, not Aeroclass Dace, VeloWorks, Superwood, and my mind eludes me
also.
just on the also, which are combined together in a composite building. And I think, Your Excellency, out of this we then have the complete supply chain that would be able to supply Ford for their 2022 program. I think that's the general overview technically. Thank you.
So the President, it's a total of 13 factories being built simultaneously. Wow. That's in addition to, and then the Ford itself has the massive expansion. Wow. And so on. Yeah. So it's 14
We said, we said, can we do something? You said, I wanted something mega.
I want big stuff. This is really big. This is really big.
Yeah.
What's your timeline? Is it 2022 or beyond for various phases?
Your Excellency, we're aiming at beneficial occupation, and what I mean by beneficial occupation is when the suppliers can start to install their equipment, and that's going to be April of this year, so it's an extremely tight timeline.
April of this year?
Yeah, and we're looking at completion of...
Yeah, so are you saying April of this year, many of the top structures will be up?
Yes, for the critical initial installations
Yes,
of
that's what I
equipment,
mean.
and Your Excellency, then completion of the project by December.
So, Excellency, I think if you take the World Cup, FIFA set a date and we build to that date. Ford has set a date, we are building to that date. The launch is early February 2022, but we are aiming... We
need something around February of next year. Yeah. February of next year, we need to be supplying parts from this facility into my factory for early builds.
When in February?
2022.
Early, the first week of February, I hope.
Mid-February.
No, I want the
I'll give you a
first
little bit
week.
of grace. I'll give you a little bit of grace.
So effectively, what it comes down to is the construction and the operationalization of the SEZ must be complete by December this year, so that the parts can roll out by February.
200,000 vehicles from next year get produced from here.
We have
Per annum.
Per annum, 200,000.
200,000 vehicles per annum get produced for international market.
Wow.
And 2/3 of that will be exported abroad.
To 155 countries.
155 countries.
Yeah, we should take that.
So you're making me believe that I set too low a target for you now.
We'll go with this target and then we'll decide.
This is phenomenal.
So there is another back, at the back of this, there is another project we are working with the DTI and Transnet on the logistics hub. The Tambo Springs logistics hub.
Yes.
All the vehicles being produced here,
We'll
apart
go
from
there.
to get them to the port.
To the port, they
Yes.
have to go through there.
Has been a big problem. Now we are working on a logistics corridor to the Eastern Cape because Durban is packed.
Yes.
So that's another project
So
at the
that's
back
why
of this.
the linkage with Cook.
Yeah. Yes. The logistics, that is a project that Transnet is driving, hopefully
Where is the CEO?
at the pace we are.
She said she couldn't,
couldn't come.
be here and so on, but
so
the
the
chair would be
logistics are
coming.
critical for this to work for us.
The plan is to have a full service line from Silverton to Nelson Mandela Bay and to be able to move products both inbound and outbound for the entire volume and demand of Ford.
Okay, don't say Silverton only. Remember Roslyn?
Roslyn too.
I know, Rosie.
Yeah, we also have Nissan and BMW there.
Yes, I know.
So to get all this
All
stuff
these.
out of here,
Yes.
we need a really, really good logistics
Yeah.
corridor. That's
Okay, it's quite clear. What
I mean,
needs to be done.
200,000 is a lot of vehicles to move.
It's a lot of vehicles to move.
yes.
How many trains a week
It's about 28 trains a week for vehicles and about 6 trains a week for containers. So
There's
What have you
lots
done?
of there's lots
What have
of
you
It's a
done?
huge project, Mr. President. It's huge.
It's
That's
a
lots of
massive
Different,
project.
massive project.
there's lots of first you will hear about this project.
I'm delighted.
Not only mega, but also local participation.
So this is really about creating an auto city, a massive auto city with all the suppliers connected here and building the platform here to move the vehicles to more than 150 countries.
Delighted.
So it's a
Wow.
manufacturing platform, but it's also a logistics platform.
Excellent.
So we are done.
We are done, and then we proceed now to the formal event, which will just be up the road.
just
and
half a
then-
kilometer.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Good luck. I wish you the best of luck. Thank you. I'll be there.
Meant for him.
You're listening to the plus minus of this project. The president, they're tracking progress at the Tshwane Automotive Special Economic Zone. It occurs 14 months since leading the sod turning of the 3.4 billion rand joint investment by government and Ford Motor Company, which established the first automotive incubation center adjacent to the Special Economic Zone. Now, the Tshwane Automotive Special Economic Zone fulfills what we are told the district development model objective of coordinated development and economic opportunities in local areas. It also focuses on attracting foreign direct investment and grow export of value added commodities. So if you're wondering what a special economic zone is all about and what sort of incentives are there, well, it's basically reduce corporate tax rates, VAT and custom relief, also building allowances and an unemployment tax incentive. So that's some of the incentives offered by the Special Economic Zone. So we will no doubt touch base with Mbongeni Muthwa to get the very latest with regards to the president's visit there. Let's take you back.